Hey boys and girls, I miss you. I hope you're having a great time with your other teacher. Know that I have been asking about you all the time. So if you ever need anything that I can help you with, you just reach out, okay? So I thought I'd finally had a few minutes before my next meeting with my new 5th graders that I just met today. They're so big. I forgot how big 5th graders are. Okay, so let's see. I'll at least try and get one chapter read before I have to jump on my office hours with my new kids. So the last chapter, Grandma came to town and they got a bird for Fudge. And didn't the bird, I believe, call the teacher stupid? I believe so. Yep. Middle child. Fudge tells Grandma he's the middle child and needs lots of attention. Yep, in the very end of the chapter, he brings the Uncle Feather, which was the bird, to Miss Ziff's class. And Mrs. Hildebrand, the teacher that didn't like him really and didn't want to call him Fudge, he called her, he said, "Bonjour, stupid." Oh my goodness. All right, so chapter 8, Naturally Fortified. "I want to be a ghost for Halloween," Fudge said. "A scary, scary ghost." "I think we can arrange that," Mom said. She was feeding Tootsie purple mush from a jar. Tootsie lets half of every spoonful ooze right back out of her mouth so that Mom has to scrape it off her face and start all over again. It takes 3 tries to finish off one baby spoon. Feeding Tootsie could be an all-day project. "What about you, Peter?" Mom asked. "What do you want to be for Halloween?" 6th graders don't wear costumes," I said. "Really?" Mom said. "When I was in 6th grade. "That was a long time ago," I said, interrupting her. 100 years or more?" Fudge asked. Not quite." "What's Tootsie going to be for Halloween?" Fudge asked. "A baby," I told him. "Ha ha, PETA," Fudge said, laughing. "You're funny." Every time Fudge laughs, Tootsie laughs too. And when she laughs with her mouth full, she really makes a mess. Can you just imagine? So now she had plums all over her face, plums drooling down on her bib, plums stuck in her hair, plums covering her rattle, which she then banged on the tray as she laughed. Can you just imagine? Ugh! Need a water hose to clean her off. Turtle hangs around when Mom is feeding Tootsie. He's developed a taste for baby food. And remember, Turtle's the dog. Mom says it's not good for him. He needs to chew up hard food to exercise his teeth and jaws. Once a week, I give him a special tablet to help his breath. Lately, he has had the worst breath. I'm glad Sheila Tubman isn't around to tell me how bad my dog smells, because this time she'd really be right. Fudge says that Turtle should rinse twice a day with Precious Breath, this new blue mouthwash that's advertised on TV. Fudge is very big on commercials. He's memorized all of them, and when we go to the supermarket, he drives us up the wall reciting dumb jingles and about why we should buy this product instead of that one. My father spends his mornings at the university library and works at home in the afternoon. "How's the book coming?" I asked him one day when I got home. "Slowly, Peter," he said, "very slowly. I'm still gathering information. I hope to finish my research by Christmas and start the actual writing after the holidays." Fudge stood in the doorway, nibbling a piece of cheese. "Dr. Seuss can write a book in an hour," he said. "Well, how do you know that?" I asked. "I don't, but I'll bet you he can," Fudge said. "1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish. Do you like green eggs and ham?" "I do. I like them, Sam I am." Okay, that's enough," I said. "Boys, I'm trying to work now," Dad said. "Do you think you can move to another room?" Later, we were watching the 6 o'clock news when Fudge's favorite commercial came on the air. "Oh, look, it's my dancing cats." And he put down his Lego bricks and watched. "Everybody knows that cats can't really dance," I told him. "It's just a lot of fancy camera work." "Shut up, PETA," he said, and then he turned to Dad. "They have cat food commercials, dog food commercials, and people food commercials. How come they don't have bird food commercials?" "That's a good question, Fudge," Dad said without really answering it. Mina birds of the world unite. I began, trying to think of a clever commercial for bird food. What's unite? Fudge asked. Never mind. You sound like Uncle Feather when you say things twice. It's contagious, I told him. Well, what's contagious? He asked. Forget it, I said. We should feed Uncle Feather Choco, Fudge said. If you give it to the one you love first thing in the morning, you don't have to worry about the rest of the day. It has 45 vitamins. No, I said. That's not it. It's fortified with vitamins. That's what I said. Oh, I didn't even catch it. Fudge said it wrong and said it has 45 vitamins. And Peter is correcting him and saying, no, it's fortified. That just means it has them in there. No, that's what I said, 45 vitamins. No, not 45, fortified. And I spelled it for him. Fortified. That means that vitamins have been added. It does, Fudge asked. Yes, and anyway, you shouldn't believe everything you see on TV, right, Dad? That's right, Dad said. You lie when you make up commercials, Fudge asked. No, but sometimes we exaggerate. What's exaggerate? Fudge asked. We embellish to make our point, Dad said. Well, what's embellish? Sometimes Dad has to stretch the truth, I explained. Thank you, Peter. That's a good way of putting it. Well, how do you know so much, Peter? Partly because I'm in 6th grade and partly because I'm just naturally smart, I answered. Then how come you got a 58 on your geography test? Fudge asked. Because Mr. Bogner tricked us with matching questions. What's matching questions? It's what teachers do to prove to you that you aren't as smart as you think. You'll find out someday. But I am as smart as I think, Fudge said. So there. I wasn't about to get into an argument over that one. On Friday afternoon, Alex and I were downtown. We stopped off at the movie theater to have a look of the display of Superman photos. I had already seen Superman in New York, but Alex had missed it, so we decided that when it comes to town, we'll try and go see it together. Next to the movie theater was an art gallery. There was something familiar about one of the paintings in the window. It was all white with 2 black circles in the middle and a red square in the upper left-hand corner. I know that painting, I said to Alex. It doesn't look like much to know, Alex said. I snapped my fingers. That's a Frank Fargo picture, or painting. Alex shrugged. Who's Frank Fargo? My friend's father. I was over when he was working on it, I said. Let's go in. The only other person in the gallery was a very tall, skinny woman with a neck like a giraffe and more curly hair than I had ever seen. She was really good looking. I liked the way she walked with her head high and her back straight. Hello, what can I do for you? She asked. We were wondering about the painting in the window, the one with the white circles. It's called Anita's Anger, and it's by Frank Fargo. I told you, I said to Alex, who didn't seem that interested. I know him, I said to Giraffe Neck. He's my friend's father. Yeah, really, she asked. Yes. How much does it cost, Alex asked. Any guesses? $2,500, she told him. What? For that, Alex asked. Yes, he's becoming quite famous. But it's nothing, Alex argued. I'll bet I could paint the same thing in an hour. Just like Dr. Seuss can write a book in an hour, I muttered. What's that got to do with it? Ugh, nothing, forget it. It may look simple, she said, but I assure you it takes a lot of talent to paint that way. That night I asked my parents if they knew that Frank Fargo was becoming famous. Yes, didn't you? No, nobody told me. Nobody ever tells me anything. Mom and I are considering one of his paintings. It's in an art gallery downtown. That white thing with the black circles and the red square. Yeah, that's the one. Did you like it? I don't know, but it sure does cost a lot, I said. That's the problem, Dad said. But now that I'm going back to work, Mom began, looking up from her needlepoint. You're going where? I'm back to work, she told me. I've been offered a part-time job by Dr. Monroe, a dentist in town. Oh, I thought you were sick of teeth, I said. I thought you wanted to study art history. Art history will have to wait. For now, I've decided to be more practical. I looked at Dad. It's because of that book. That stupid book. You wouldn't have to be practical if Dad was president of the advertising agency, would you? Peter, Mom sounded angry. That's not a very thoughtful thing to say. Well, I didn't care if she felt angry because I did too. It's all right, Ann, Dad said. I think I know what Peter's getting at. He'd like me to be president of the agency, right, Peter? Well, sure. Who wouldn't like his father to be president? But I don't want to be president of the agency, and you've got to try to understand that. I do want to write my book, though, and sometimes you've got to do what's really important to you, even if it's not practical. And I never said I was sick of teeth, Mom said. So I said I wanted to think about a change in career, so I'm thinking. It will be nice to have a job again, and if Daddy weren't at home writing his book, I wouldn't be able to leave Tootsie, so it's all working out, you see? No, I said. Everything's different. What do you mean? I just don't know. Just everything. Mom going back to work, you're writing a book, us living here, Tootsie's being born, Fudge going to kindergarten, me in 6th grade. Everything is different. And you don't like it? Is that what you're trying to say? Well, I don't know if I do or if I don't. Changes take getting used to, Dad said, but in the long run, they're healthy. Well, I didn't feel like listening anymore, so I said, can I just call Jimmy tonight? Sure, Dad said. Go ahead. Jimmy answered the phone. Hey, how's it going? I could tell that he was eating something. I don't know. Everything's different. I just can't get used to it. Well, everything's the same around here except that you're gone. He must have swallowed because his voice cleared. He told me about school and about our friends and the way Sheila Tubman is telling the whole world how much she misses me. And then he said, Peter, I have a confession to make. Well, what's that? I've been using your rock. Not just sitting on it, but using it. You know what I mean? It's okay, I said. Don't worry about it. No kidding? No. You're a great friend. You know that? A really great friend. Well, I have a confession to make too, I said. I've been using my crystal. Not just looking at it, but using it to get to sleep at night. Oh, he said. So I guess we're even, I said. I guess so. But he didn't sound as if I were the world's greatest friend anymore. I saw a painting by your father today, I told him. The white one with the black circles and the red square. Oh, that one, he said. My father painted that one right before my mother left for Vermont. One night they had this big fight and she threw red paint on the canvas and that's how the red square got there. And that's why it's called Anita's Anger. I didn't know what to say because Jimmy never talks about his parents' divorce, so I changed the subject. Do you know how much it cost? $2,500. Can you believe anybody would pay that much for it? Shows how much you know about art, Peter. It sounded like he had something in his mouth again. Pretzels, I thought. My father's last 3 paintings were sold for over $2,000 a piece, so before you go around opening your big fat mouth, you should find out what you're talking about. And he hung up. Great, just what I needed. My best friend's hanging up on me. He'll probably call back in 10 minutes, I thought. He didn't. I waited until Halloween afternoon to call him. It's me, I said. I'm sorry. About what, he said. You know, that about the price of your father's paintings. Oh, yeah, that. It just so happens that my parents are thinking about buying it. Which one? You know, Anita's Anger. Oh, you should tell them to buy a different painting. Anita's Anger is a ripoff. Even my father says so. But you said, I know what I said. Neither of us spoke for a minute. Finally, I asked, so what are you doing for Halloween? Usual, nothing. How about you? I'm taking Fudge trick-or-treating. Well, how'd you get roped into that? I volunteered. You volunteered? I think he was chewing gum this time. You weren't kidding when you said everything's changed. He was chewing gum. I could tell he was blowing a bubble, and I thought I heard the pop when the bubble broke. My father and mother were surprised when I told them I'd take Fudge trick-or-treating, but Alex said he'd come with me as long as he didn't have to walk next to Fudge or hold his hand crossing the streets or anything gross. Besides, we planned to take him out early, bring him home, and then go out by ourselves. And I knew how badly he wanted to go with us and not with Mom or Dad like all the kindergarten babies. Alex called for me at 6:30, and when I saw him, I couldn't believe it. He was wearing a costume. A sheet decorated with black circles and 1 red square. I'm Anita's Anger, he said. Do you like it? He turned around a couple of times, holding his arms out. It's different, I said. Well, what are you, he asked. Me? I was wearing jeans and a flannel shirt, the same clothes I wore to school that day. He's a 6th grader, Fudge said, and Tootsie's a baby, and Turtle's a dog, and Mommy's a mommy, and Daddy's a daddy, but I'm a scary, scary ghost. Ooh, Fudge swooped around across the room. You mean you're not even going to wear a costume, not even a mask? Well, sure I am, I said. It's upstairs. Wait a minute, I'll go get it. I raced up the stairs and found Mom changing Tootsie. Where's Fudge's disguise, I asked her. She looked blank. You know, the one he sent away for 4 box tops and 25 cents. Oh, that one. I'm not sure. But, Mom, I need it right away, so please try and remember. Well, I thought you said you weren't dressing up this year. Well, I changed my mind. And Alex is downstairs waiting. Let's see, Mom said, fastening Tootsie's clean diaper. It could be with Fudgy's toys. He's always liked that disguise. Look in his closet in the red toy box. I ran down the hall to Fudge's room and threw open his closet door. The red toy box, red toy box. Let me see, here it is. Dragged it out and rummaged through it. In the very bottom, in a Pepperidge Farm cookie box, were the black eyeglass rims attached to a rubber nose and the stick-on beard and mustache. I also found an old hat that once belonged to Grandpa Hatcher. I smoothed it out and put it on along with Fudge's disguise. I checked myself in the mirror and then ran downstairs. "That's mine," Fudge hollered when he saw me. "I'm just borrowing it for a few hours." "No, no, no." "No? Well, okay, you just don't get to go trick-or-treating with me and Alex. You can go with Daddy like all the other kindergarten babies. Goodbye." I flung off the glasses and rubber nose, tossed them aside, and acted like I was really going to leave without him. "No, come back, PETA." "Not unless I can wear the disguise." "Okay, but you can wear it, but it's still mine, right?" "Yeah, sure, it's still yours." I looked over at Alex, who was shaking his head. Alex still can't figure out my family. We grabbed our UNICEF boxes and our pillowcases to hold our loot, and we left. We worked our way up one side of the street and then down the other. When we got close to Miss Mulder's house, Alex said, "Maybe she'll give us some worms for a treat." "Worms?" Fudge said. "Yeah, she's really big on worms." "So is Uncle Feathers," Fudge said. "Uncle Feather's a bird," I said. "Why does everyone keep saying that?" Fudge asked. "I know Uncle Feather's a bird." He was quiet for a minute and he said, "What does she do with her worms?" "You know." "She eats them," Alex said. "Really?" "We think so." We ran up the path to Mrs. Mulder's house and Alex rang the bell. "If she gives us worms, we can feed them to Uncle Feather." "Shh," I told him. She opened the door. She was wearing a jogging suit. "Well, well, well, what a cute ghost." "I'm not cute, I'm scary," Fudge told her. "Woo!" "Oh my," she clutched at her chest. "Yes, you are a scary ghost." "Hi, Mrs. Mulder," Alex said. "Hi, Alex, that's an unusual costume you're wearing." "It's called Anita's Anger. I got the idea from a painting I saw downtown." "Beverly, come here. You've got to see this." Right away, I knew it was her. Giraffe neck. I knew before I could even see her face. I knew by the way she walked from the other room to the front door and by the curly hair. "This is my daughter, Beverly." "Alex is dressed as a painting. Can you guess which one?" "Well, the white background, black circles, and the red square, it must be Anita's Anger." "Right." I thought about telling Beverly about the night Jimmy's parents had their big fight and how Mrs. Fargo had dumped red paint on Mr. Fargo's canvas and how Mr. Fargo had named his painting Anita's Anger because Anita is Jimmy's mother. I thought about telling her the whole story, but then I remembered how I told Jimmy things that I wouldn't tell anybody else, and I knew that if I were Jimmy, I wouldn't want my best friend telling the whole world my secrets. "Do you really eat worms?" Fudge asked out of nowhere. I gave him a kick, but that didn't stop him. "PETA says you eat them all the time. And he knows everything because he's naturally smart, except for matching questions." He listens to everything, don't he? Mrs. Mulder and Beverly looked at each other. Fudge continued. "So did you?" "Did we what?" Mrs. Mulder asked. "Did you eat worms for supper?" Alex let out a groan, and I could see our business going down the drain. She smiled at Fudge. "Well, yes, we did. There's nothing like home-baked worms, and my mother's recipe is the best. We eat them instead of cauliflower," she said, "and we need to get our vitamins one way or the other." "Are your worms fortified?" Alex groaned again. "My worms are naturally fortified," Mrs. Mulder says. "They're chock full of vitamins, no preservatives, nothing added, just the real thing." She was beginning to sound like a commercial for worms, and I could hear the announcer saying, "Buy Mrs. Mulder's naturally fortified worms." They're chock full of vitamins. Grind them up in your favorite recipe, blend them in your milkshakes, and serve them instead of cauliflower on those special occasions. "Would you like to taste my special worm cookies?" Mrs. Mulder asked Fudge. "Yes," he said, following her into the house. We marched into the house. On the counter was a big plate of cookies, fresh out of the oven. Well, they look like chocolate chips. They are. Chocolate chip worm cookies. "Which part is the worm?" Fudge asked. "You can't see the worms. I just grind them up and mix them in the flour." Just like my commercial, I thought. "Go on, take one." Fudge chose a cookie and held it to his lips, but he hesitated, and I could see he wasn't really sure that he wanted to taste chocolate chip worm cookies after all. Beverly took one and shoved it in her mouth all at once. These are good, Mother." She took another and ate it quickly, and she brushed the crumbs off her hands. Fudge bit into his cookie. He chewed it up very slowly. It's good. You can't even taste the worms. Do you think there's really worms in there? Mrs. Muldour offered the plate to Alex and me, and we each took a cookie. Fudge asked if he could have another, and Miss Muldour said she'd do better than that. She wrapped a little package of cookies for him to take with him. When we got home, Fudge dumped out his pillowcase on the dining room table. He arranged his loot in stacks and counted everything. 11 M&Ms, 7 Nestle's Crunch, 5 Hershey's without almonds, 3 with, 2 Milky Ways, 1 granola bar, 4 apples, and 6 worm cookies. What did you say, Mom? Asked him. Nothing, Mom, I told her. He didn't say anything, did you, Fudge? Here, Mommy, have a cookie. Mrs. Muldour baked them. Thank you. Very good. I wonder where she got her recipe. It's been in her family for a long time, I said, and they're naturally fortified with... I didn't give him a chance to finish. No preservatives, no additives, naturally fortified and chock full of vitamins. Right, Fudge? Right, PETA, he said, smiling, and I knew that he understood. All right, guys, that took a long time to read. So I will read another chapter tomorrow and send that to your teachers. Miss you. Hope you're doing well. I hope to see you soon.